Have you ever wondered what goes on behind the scenes of your favorite TV show? It's not just about the cameras, the lights, or the scripts. Sometimes, the most beautiful stories are the ones that happen when the cameras stop rolling. This is one of those stories, my story. For years, I was the face you saw on your screens every evening. The host with the perfect smile and the witty comebacks. My life looked glamorous, polished, and put together. But behind that studio desk, I felt like I was living in a different world. It was a world of pressure, deadlines, and a constant need to be someone I wasn't always sure I was. The real me was buried under layers of makeup and carefully curated outfits. Then there was Alex. She wasn't on screen. She was the one making sure the on-screen world looked perfect. A production crew member, always dressed in black, with a headset permanently attached to her ear and a tool belt that seemed to hold the solution to every technical problem. I'd see her darting around the set, her focus intense, her movements efficient and graceful. While I was talking to millions, she was in the shadows, making sure my voice was heard. Our interactions started small. A quick nod before we went live. A shared tired smile after a long shoot. She'd be the one to adjust my mic pack, her fingers brushing against my back, sending a jolt through me that had nothing to do with the electronics. I'd catch her eye across the crowded studio, and for a split second the noise would fade, and it would just be the two of us. I started looking for her. I'd find excuses to walk past the control room, hoping for a glimpse of her focused expression as she queued up graphics. I learned her coffee order black, 2 sugars, and started making sure there was an extra cup waiting for her during our early morning call times. She'd give me this small, genuine smile that was worth more than any standing ovation. It was a smile just for me, not for the TV host. One evening, after a particularly chaotic show, the studio was finally quiet. The crew had packed up, but I saw Alex, coiling cables in a corner, a weary look on her face. I walked over, my heart pounding in a way it never did on live television. I just said, "Tough one tonight, huh?" She looked up, surprised, and that beautiful smile appeared. "You have no idea," she replied, her voice warm and a little raspy. We talked for hours that night, sitting on the edge of the very stage where I performed every day. We talked about everything and nothing. Her passion for filmmaking, my secret love for old black and white movies. Her dreams of directing her own film, my fears of being stuck in a box the industry had built for me. For the first time, I wasn't the host, and she wasn't just crew. We were just 2 people, connecting in the quiet hum of a sleeping television studio. That night was the beginning. Our coffee moments turned into lunch dates. Our late-night talks on set turned into walks in the park and movie nights at her apartment. With Alex, I didn't have to perform. I could be messy, unsure, and vulnerable. She saw the person behind the persona, and she didn't just accept her. She celebrated her. Of course, it wasn't easy. We were terrified of what people at work would say. The media industry can be unforgiving. We kept our relationship a secret for a long time, stealing kisses in empty edibays and holding hands under the table in crowded restaurants far from the studio. It felt like we were living in our own little bubble, a secret world that was just for us. The fear of that bubble bursting was constant. What if we were found out? Would I lose my job? Would she be treated differently? It was a heavy weight to carry. But every time I was with her, the fear would melt away. Her love was a quiet strength, a steady anchor in the chaotic sea of my life. She made me brave. The day I decided to come out publicly was one of the scariest of my life. I was about to go on air, and my hands were shaking. I looked across the studio and saw Alex standing by the main camera. She gave me a subtle nod, her eyes full of a love and support that filled me with courage. And so I did it. I spoke my truth to millions of people. The aftermath was a whirlwind. But the most important thing was that the sky didn't fall. In fact, the world opened up. The messages of support poured in. But the only support I truly needed was standing right there in the studio, waiting for me when the cameras turned off. Alex walked up to me in front of everyone and kissed me. In that moment, there were no more shadows, no more secrets, just us. Our love story didn't start with a dramatic movie-style confession. It was built in the quiet moments, in shared smiles and cups of coffee, in the unspoken understanding between two people who saw each other for who they really were. It is a story about finding love where you least expect it and finding the courage to be yourself, no matter what stage you're on. Today, we're building a life together far from the glare of the studio lights. Alex is finally directing her first indie film, and I'm writing, telling the stories I've always wanted to tell. Our love story isn't a behind-the-scenes secret anymore. It's our beautiful reality. It has proof that the most authentic connections are made when you let the curtain fall and just be you. Thank you for letting me share this piece of my heart with you. If our story resonates, I'd love for you to subscribe and join our community. There are so many more stories to tell. See you next time. Love doesn't end with a kiss. Sometimes, that's when it truly begins, morning after the live confession. The morning sunlight felt different. Lorena woke up before the alarm, her heart heavy yet calm. For the first time in years, she didn't reach for her phone immediately, didn't check headlines, comments, or trending tags. Juquinha was still asleep beside her. No cameras. No scripts. No audience. Just the soft rise and fall of her breath. Lorena watched her quietly, overwhelmed by the realization that the woman she had kissed live on television was now here, real, warm, and vulnerable. The world has seen their love, but this moment belonged only to them. Lorena leaned in and kissed Juquinha's forehead, slow and careful, like she was still learning how to love without fear. Juquinha stirred, smiling before even opening her eyes. "Still real?" she whispered. Lorena laughed softly. "More than ever." The world responds. Reality returned fast. By noon, the internet was on fire. Clips of the kiss were everywhere, slowed down, replayed, analyzed. Headlines screamed words like brave, shocking, historic. Some praised Lorena for coming out. Others accused her of using love as publicity. Juquinha felt overwhelmed. She wasn't used to being seen like this, to strangers dissecting her smile, her clothes, her past. Walking outside suddenly felt like stepping onto a stage without rehearsal. Lorena noticed. That night, she took Juquinha's hands and said, "You don't owe anyone anything. If this becomes too much, I'll protect you." Juquinha squeezed back. "I don't want to hide anymore, just don't leave me alone in it." Lorena leaned in, pressing a gentle kiss to her lips, slow, grounding, reassuring. "I won't." Learning to be public. Their first public appearance together was terrifying. Holding hands in front of photographers felt different than doing it on live TV. The cameras were closer now, more invasive. Every step, every glance mattered. Juquinha's fingers trembled. Lorena noticed and intertwined their fingers more tightly, brushing her thumb against Juquinha's knuckles, a silent reminder. "You're not alone." When reporters asked invasive questions, Lorena answered calmly but firmly. When someone ignored Juquinha and spoke only to Lorena, she redirected every time. "She's my partner. Talk to both of us." That night, back home, Juquinha cried. "Not from fear but from gratitude. I've spent my life in the background," she said. "No one's ever chosen me like this." Lorena wiped her tears and kissed her deeply. No rush, no performance. Just love. Intimacy without hiding. Their intimacy changed after the confession, not more intense, more honest. They kissed in kitchens, on couches, in the quiet spaces between conversations. Juquinha learned how Lorena liked her hair touched when she was anxious. Lorena learned that Juquinha needed silence after long days, not reassurance. One evening during a thunderstorm, the power went out. They sat on the floor, candles flickering. Rain hammered the windows. Juquinha rested her head on Lorena's shoulder, tracing patterns on her arm. "Do you ever regret it?" Juquinha asked. Lorena didn't answer right away. Then she kissed Juquinha, slow, lingering, filled with emotion. "No," she said softly. "I regret every day I waited." Cracks under pressure, but love isn't immune to pressure. A network executive called Lorena into a meeting. Ratings were up, but sponsors were nervous. They wanted reassurance that her personal life wouldn't overshadow the show. Lorena came home furious. Juquinha has sensed it immediately. They're afraid of us, Lorena snapped. No, Juquinha said gently. They're afraid of losing control. The argument escalated. Lorena felt trapped between responsibility and love. Juquinha felt like a risk someone else had to manage. Harsh words slipped out. You knew what this would be like, Lorena said. Juquinha stepped back, hurt flashing across her face. I didn't know you'd make me feel like a burden. Silence fell. That night, they slept apart for the first time. The fear of losing love. Juquinha packed a small bag the next morning, not to leave forever, just to breathe. Lorena watched her from the doorway, panic rising. I don't want to lose you, Lorena said quietly. Juquinha looked back. Then don't ask me to shrink. The words hit hard. After Juquinha left, Lorena sat alone, replaying every moment. She realized something painful. She had come out to the world, but hadn't fully come out of fear. That evening, Lorena went to Juquinha's place. No cameras, no speeches. Just honesty. I'm still learning, Lorena said, but I choose you. Not the show. Not their comfort. You. Juquinha searched her face, then stepped closer. Then kiss me like you mean it. Lorena did. The kiss was deeper this time, full of apology, desire, and promise. It wasn't perfect. It was real. Redefining success. Lorena made a decision. On her next broadcast, she didn't talk about controversy. She didn't explain or justify. She simply introduced the show, smiled, and did her job authentically. Juquinha watched from behind the camera, pride glowing in her eyes. Later, Lorena walked straight to her and kissed her cheek, casual, unapologetic. The crew didn't gasp anymore. They smiled. Normal has changed. Quiet love, strong roots. Weeks passed. The noise softened. The love deepened. They started planning small things, weekend trips, shared routines, inside jokes no one else understood. One night, lying in bed, Juquinha traced the curve of Lorena's jaw and whispered, if the world stopped watching, would you still love me the same? Lorena kissed her slowly, then rested her forehead against Juquinha's. Yes, because this, she gestured between them. This was never for them. What comes next? Lorena and Juquinha's story didn't end with applause. It continued in choosing each other daily, standing tall together, and loving openly without performing. Their kisses were no longer statements, they were simply home. And sometimes, that's the most radical love of all.